Just a man on a mission, ambition to never fail. Personality electric, he is animated male. Intelligent and wise, calm and often cool. Chris James giving opinions while also speaking the truth. Empathy and compassion, Stephen Michael is here. Helping you through your traumas, helping you with your fears. These three forces combine and keep it honest. Turn up the volume, cause this is the application of knowledge.
Welcome, This is the Application of Knowledge podcast. Chris James, Stephen Michael, animated male. We're back. Week number whatever, one of these.
Oh my God.
3
like
or 4,
five,
4. I don't know, man. We out here. And today we're going to be talking about something that's very interesting.
Okay.
Something that's sweeping the nation like a big old broom.
Ooh.
Woo, got
like a broom.
Big old dust bunny. So, are you all familiar with drugs?
What? I've heard of them.
Are you all familiar with drugs?
Okay.
Are you all familiar with D.A.R.E? D.A.R.E.
Yeah.
D.A.R.E is in like the
drug
and
resist
alcohol,
drug abuse resistance, something like that.
and education,
drug abuse resistance education,
drug abuse and education.
Wow.
Is it?
I don't know.
How about we don't say that?
Okay.
It's not. It's drug abuse resistance education.
I don't actually know.
Drug abuse resistant education program, or D.A.R.E. You know,
we don't use that word. That'll get us flagged.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Bleep that out. Okay. D.A.R.E, which is something that we all, most people, if they was in the United States, they had that drug program within their school where they would come, and teach people about drugs. And so, I'm not sure if you guys watch, but there's this show. It's called Euphoria. And it's with Zendaya, the chick that played in Spider-Man and stuff. But,
is she dating him? Is that the girl?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're action stars together and they're dating. That's interesting.
Yeah. They're like the new modern celebrity popular.
Oh, okay. Oh, for the children. Okay, that's cute.
I mean, but they're grown as hell, but they look young.
No, they children.
I mean, they're still young.
They're not.
I mean, Tom Holland is the youngest MCU character, actor. So
he's not the youngest, maybe main, because there's kids in the movie. So
oh my God! Here goes Mel. Here you
go.
go.
I'm just saying, if you say he's the youngest actor in the MCU, he's not the youngest, but he's probably the youngest star.
Superhero.
Okay, we're not talking about
Extras.
Spider-Man or Iron Man's daughter when she showed up, and
but if you say he's the youngest, you have to be very specific.
This is the level of deep conversation that you got to have with Mel.
No,
it's not just me. It's not just me. This is all y'all. Don't try to fake
He is the youngest main character that has had a large contract with the MCU.
Okay. Who has played as Spider-Man?
No, period.
Well,
I'm
just trying to be very specific because Mel cannot dispute
No,
it.
it's not. No, don't try to blame that on me. That's how you are. All period. I don't even have to be here, and you all be talking about something. You know what I mean? Being specific about minute details, but. Zendaya, she plays in she stars in this series. It's called Euphoria, and it comes on HBO Max. And the highlight of this show.
Oh, you got HBO Max?
Ooh, he slipped.
No, I don't have HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
But you have HBO Max.
I'm saying the show comes on HBO Max. I'm not saying I have HBO Max. If the show comes on HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
And the show, it follows Zendaya, and she's a girl on the series, and she struggles with drug addiction.
Okay.
And
is she doing real drugs, or are they some random fake Star Wars drugs?
Nah, she doing legit.
Oh, she doing some.
She getting it in.
It's not this isn't like a Marvel superhero thing. It's like New York City.
Figured, but if you watch Star Wars. They're not going to use, because of Star Wars and a lot of stuff is PG-13. They'll use, they won't use, real drugs. they'll call it something else. Like I don't know.
I've never seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Green lights. You know what I mean? Like
But it could be maybe similar to how cocaine or opium.
right. It just exactly
just a different name.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. Is she actually doing real drugs? As in, there's a
Nah, it's legit. This is
okay.
legit.
All right.
No sci-fi. This is legit. It takes place in a suburban neighborhood.
Oh, it's in the suburbs.
Yeah, it's in the suburbs.
And she have to get. Oh, they be getting it in the suburbs.
they
Oh
So-
yeah,
What do you mean? That's where they mainly be
Yeah,
doing
that's
that.
mainly where they do it. To be honest, the thing is, they're not being monitored the way the inner city.
So you see my conditioning kicked in for a second because I automatically, was thinking obviously urban inner city type situation.
Nah,
But-
the one thing that's good about this show, is it takes place in the suburbs, and it has so many different elements that we normally would, I guess, frown upon in the past. For instance, there's a transgender actor, was actually a pretty good actor, and it's I guess it's a trans woman. Is that what you would call it? Like if they,
I get very confused.
if they, man, look,
If
hey, come on, come on.
Listen,
No,
when you speak about transgenders, you speak about what they are currently.
Exactly.
So you would say she.
I'm trying to decipher.
He doesn't understand if
she
she is a transgender man or a woman.
Like if you were originally born, like for instance, if I was born a man and I go through a transgender process and I become a woman, would I be a trans woman or a trans man?
Trans woman.
Okay, I'm a trans woman. So, okay, they have a trans woman in the series or whatever. And so normally within society, people would say something about that or make fun of it. And they also have an overweight girl in there. Most people, they would talk down and speak on someone who has, characteristics or personalities that's much different. They don't highlight that in a negative light at all.
Okay. So everybody is being
So
represented.
basically, everyone's being represented and everyone's being welcomed and not being shunned out of circles based on, they're just being welcomed. Right. And I was like, I think that's a pretty dope thing. I thought that was pretty unique. Because normally when they do that in series, they point something bad about, that being their way of life or whatever. But
did you see the Eternals yet?
No.
Chris, have you seen the Eternals?
Eternals?
The Eternals, Marvel.
No.
Okay. So, because I think we talked about it. But, so the Eternals did the, exact same thing, but just on an even bigger scale. So they have a very wide range mix of actors. They have a character that's blind, so disability. They have a character that is basically is a young girl, but she kind of looks like a boy, almost like and she kind of
What's a word for that? I don't.
Well, I mean, I think that they're it's the actor is not transgender, but that's what they're implying.
I know, but there's a word for that when a woman could be a boy. You're not really sure.
Okay,
I can't remember the word.
I don't know.
Retrosexual or retro?
No, it's not like that. It's just ambiguous or something. I don't know.
I don't know. But even in the movie, they talk about how she was created, and she wants to be a grown woman, but she can't grow. She literally is like a child, but she's a adult up here because she's been around for thousands of years.
Ooh.
But she's still in a child's body, so she's 12, and then she has a short haircut. So it's wait, is that a boy or a girl? Right? Yeah. And then there's other things in there as well. So they mix it up. There's a dude from Saudi Arabia. There's a black dude, and they do a really good job of inclusion, and which is what it's sounding like.
Well, when Marvel does that, I think it's cool to do an inclusion or whatever. But I personally, you can tell when they're trying to cater to a particular audience. It doesn't. But for me to see that so prominent in movies, I feel like it's trying to cater versus just it being something that happens naturally.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because in a lot of these things that we go through normally throughout life, like high school, like you always see someone like, oh, dude gay or dude, you can tell. And so you grow up around these people. And so Euphoria, they capture it in a more realistic thing. It doesn't seem like they're catering. They're highlighting it in a way so you can get a good understanding of their life. But I'll bring up Euphoria because D.A.R.E, they just brought out like a statement of saying how Euphoria is trying to highlight the drug use within this series of teenagers. It's highlighting it and it's making it seem as it's something that's cool to do.
Here we go.
And you all haven't seen it, but I've watched it, and the series, it doesn't highlight drug use in a good way in any capacity.
Okay.
Like if you were to watch this show, you wouldn't be like, hey, you know what? I want to see how this I want to see what this Molly
drugs do.
Let me see what these drugs do.
Man, let me go ahead and hit this bump real quick. Let me go ahead and chop this.
Because if anything, it makes you be like, I need to watch my damn kids. Because it's taking place in a high school.
Okay.
And these are all centered around teenagers. And they're doing these drugs heavy, much heavier than anything that I've seen in school or growing up or anything like that.
Well, we grew up.
Yeah.
The most
the most that we probably would have seen was weed
it.
or something like that. Unless you was like you was on a unless you've seen stuff. I don't want to get too specific. Unless you grew up in certain areas where they was moving a little bit more than just, they were doing a little bit more things than they needed to.
Okay.
But D.A.R.E, they just came out with a statement saying how they're highlighting it and making it to be something good when it's not. Because if you've seen the show, you would see how like Zendaya, she overdosed on I guess sniffing coke or whatever, or shooting up stuff, and like how she almost died and her sister found her body, like she's thrown up. Y'all seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
So like how that girl, she threw up in what's his name, the white guy, what's his name in Breaking Bad?
White. No, his last name is White.
Something White, whatever his name, Walter White.
There you go.
Walter White. He seen the girl that was gargling and was with Jesse, and she died on her throw up or whatever. That's sort of how like the sister of Zendaya saw her, and she was in a hospital. Her mom, she's fighting with her mom and all this stuff. So you seeing this stuff, it's not like it glorifies it as, hey, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Because like me watching it, I'm just like, no, I wouldn't want to do this. And now granted, the show, it is shot very well.
Is it like cinematic. It's cinematic, it's gritty. It's
different.
Real.
It's different. The way it's shot, the way the series is shot, the camera effects, the camera angles, the different lighting, the way they transitioned, and the way that the story and the music, it complements the scenes. It's completely different than anything that I've seen in any normal, I guess, production. It's unique. That part is unique in itself. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say that those are it's just a good show.
Yeah.
It's just a good show. So they're coming out of, they're coming out the woodwork saying all this bad stuff, and they haven't been prominent in anything.
I didn't even know they were still
I
around.
literally was about to say, I didn't know D.A.R.E still existed.
Yeah.
I don't hear about it. It's not like I'm around a whole bunch of children. But I guess we used to have the shirts. We used to rock the shirts. They would come. They had a D.A.R.E.
I might still have one.
They had a D.A.R.E. dog or something like that. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the history of D.A.R.E., that was propaganda. D.A.R.E was set up in order to demonize weed and probably hemp too.
Yeah.
So that, you know, is the part of that war on drugs campaign, which I think most people at this point know is some BS.
Yeah.
I think most people know. If you don't, it's very easy to do research on this stuff now. So I don't care what D.A.R.E has to say. Like, your roots are tainted. Like,
here's my thought process on this. So as you said, Chris, they've been non-existent. They have just been like, who are you? So first things first. I mean, the number one, looks like you're trying to just be relevant. That's number one. And it makes me go back and think about sex when you're growing up, and you know, in church they just tell you just to be abstinent, like just abstinence. Yeah, just don't have sex. We don't talk about it. We just don't do it. And of course, you know, as you can see, our generation grew up, and it that didn't work. A lot of people were having sex. A lot of people were having, obviously children out of wedlock, and all this stuff. Right, it happens. But it got worse. So you had the baby boomers, and then you had Gen Z and all the yada yada yada, and it just keeps getting worse. And now with the internet and everything, you just see sex and everything so much earlier. So I think that if we were exposed to things and talked to about it and had conversation, then there could be education, and then you can learn, and then well, listen, if you're gonna do it, well, don't do it until a certain point, right? But if you are, at least be safe, right? And teach you how to be safe about it, instead of I watched how to have learned about how to have safe sex by commercials. Going through in school, we used to have sex ed in 6th grade, right? Where I had literally a teacher had a banana and was like, boys, that's how you put on a condom.
Yeah,
like,
I
and
had that
literally
in 9th grade.
Opened it up, rolled the condom down over a banana. And it's like, why is my teacher teaching me this and not my parents? Right. You know what I mean? So, like in Russia, they're allowed to drink earlier than us. So just in Europe in general, the drinking age is much lower.
And Mexico,
and they also have less issues with DUIs and alcohol and drug related criminal offenses. In Russia, they teach gun safety in schools. So they grow up with guns. So you don't have these mass shootings. People understand that they know how to use them. They understand the safety and the importance of them. So in America, I think that we just do a bad job. And D.A.R.E was just saying, don't do them. But then it's just like, well, if you ever had children or worked with children or whatever, you tell a child not to do something, they're going to do it. Right? So if you tell them from 4th grade on, don't smoke cigarettes, don't smoke weed, when it's available, you're going to be like, man, let me try this. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's what they want.
That's exactly what they want. And this is how I know, because they understand the psychology. Right. The mind, the brain doesn't understand the negative, right? So if I say, Steven, don't think of a pink elephant.
You immediately think of it. Yeah.
Right? So when you say, don't do drugs, do drugs.
I'm like, okay, which one?
It's the same thing with animals, right? When I was there's this lady, she's the animal whisperer. She works with big cats and things of that nature, whales and stuff. And she said that animals don't understand don't. So she's like, when somebody's saying don't sit on the couch, they just understand the sit on the couch part, which is why people have a lot of issues with their animals being whatever unruly. You have to speak. You say, can you please sit on the floor? Right? You can't say don't sit on the couch. You have to say, can you please sit on the floor? So what's happening here is there are the powers that be understand that psychology, and they don't do this, don't do that, and they just pump it in us. This is the reason why when we talk about affirmations, I always remove negative words from affirmation. You have to word it in such a manner that there's a positive undertone to it. Otherwise, you're not going to get your intended result. Yeah. I don't want to be overweight anymore. That can't be your affirmation. So I kind of went on a tangent, but yeah, I think it's on purpose.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if they just simply taught, more about drug education, if they were going to teach about it at all, teach about drug education, explain, why it's not good, or whatever. Don't just say, well, don't do this. Just educate. And
did y'all get sex ed in class? Like when they showed you diseases and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I remember they showed us sex ed, and I think I was in 8th grade. I was like, I ain't never having sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I ain't never having sex. I said, that's the best way to avoid they showed you all these diseases. I was just like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good, man. So I would think that this, a similar thing would be, and I'm just thinking of how do you educate, right? Because instead of just saying, just don't do it, right? How do you educate if you're going to talk about drugs? And I mean, you could have somebody that was, recovering alcoholic or recovering drug addict, that is doing very well for their life. And I don't know, maybe in high school they come in and they just talk about some of the things that they've been through, some of their experiences, where things went wrong, what to expect, right? Like if you're going to be you're in high school. So let's say you're in 10th, 11th grade and you're going to be going to college. Hey guys, listen, something that you can expect is these things are going to happen. And this is how you handle these situations, right? This is what you can expect to experience. And yeah, it may seem great at first, but in the long run, this is going to destroy your life. It's going to hurt your health. It's going to stop you from stop you from doing all the things you want to do in your career. Things of that nature. Education.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about it, instead of just saying, just don't do it.
So when you all watch movies or series, do you ever get inspired to do a drug based on a series or whatever you've seen?
Never.
You've never been like,
I've never seen something on TV or heard someone doing something or seen someone doing something and been inspired to want to do it.
Okay. My dude over here rubbing his mouth like, hold on. I got a little coke.
Wow.
Got a little coke on my lips. Hold on.
First of all,
like it is morning time. They get the crust off your lips.
Wow. Interesting. That's not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
What I was going to say is I know what you were saying, and what I would say is that I've recently been watching House of Cards.
That's a good show.
It's a very good show.
Oh, that's a really good show.
It's a very good show.
Man, House of Cards is really good.
So I watched it about 2 years ago, and I only saw the first season because at the time that was the only thing that was available to me. So I watched the first season, and then I just recently was just on Netflix. So I'm like, oh my God, House of Cards. And there's 6 seasons. So I'm like, oh, I got some work to do. I got some catching up. So I'm currently on season 4 and very much enjoying it. But the reason I bring that up is because you asked about influence. Now, I used to smoke. They smoke, right? So Frank Underwood, him and his wife, they'll smoke. But I don't see that and think, dang, man, I could use a cigarette right now. You know what I mean? Doesn't make me want to smoke. They drink. It doesn't make me feel like, man, I could use a whiskey neat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make me want to do that. Now, the way that they dress, watching them in suits all the time, I mean, they are put together. It made me, because, last week we talked about going to the wedding. So I literally went and, got a few things because...
So you got inspired to change your wardrobe based on what you saw on House of Cards.
That's correct.
Huh. Okay.
So
they're doing their thing. You made influence. In a good way, though. In a good way.
I mean, here's the thing. Everything is...
But that wasn't the question. It was specifically about drugs, right?
That is correct.
Because I do take inspiration. I don't want to make it seem... I don't know if that's how it came off.
No. He went down the side road.
Oh, okay.
He was asking about drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, he expanded.
And you answered it, which I think that we all agree. I came from a different point of view.
Yeah, because I get inspiration from TV and other
absolutely.
creators. Yeah, for sure.
But that's what ads are supposed to do. That's what they do. That's what it's supposed to do. Now, the difference between one person and another, one person doesn't understand that. And their subconscious just eats it, and all of a sudden now they're looking and dressing and doing things that they see The other person has an idea and understands, well, listen, they're presenting things to me, and they determine what they are going to allow in and what they aren't.
Right.
So,
I get inspired by Game of Thrones.
see, I haven't even watched...
with my wardrobe.
That's why you got
Nah, because no.
you got the...
What? This has nothing to do with Game of Thrones.
I mean...
This
No, that literally
has nothing
has
to do with
there's no Game of Thrones.
You can try to point it. This looks like Game of Thrones. Like
Yeah, that's the wolf.
The little wolf.
The bear wolf.
The little boy that went. It has eyes and goes into the wolf. You know what
I mean, quite possibly.
You've never watched Game of Thrones?
I've never seen one full
Blasphemy.
episode.
Blasphemy. Yeah.
How's it
Off
blasphemy?
with his head.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
listen,
gonna
I want
Stark
to.
you.
That's Starkey.
I want to.
It's a really good show.
It's phenomenal.
It's man.
The
What is
ending
it on
was a
HBO?
little.
Huh?
Is it on HBO?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is.
yeah. I think it's on HBO.
So Euphoria and Game of Thrones are on HBO.
Hey, real talk. HBO Max is where it's at.
How would you know that, Mel?
Because I've seen it. I've seen some of the shows on there. I was in past endeavors.
Okay,
And-
past relationships.
Yeah, it was past relationships, and we would spend time.
Did you get access? Did that person give you access to their account?
No, they did not. Because if they did,
You'd be rocking.
you know what I mean? I'd be on it. But I'm saying HBO Max, it's it. You know, because Netflix
Somebody-
is going up on their prices.
Somebody.
That's you can't compare those two though.
You can, yes.
See,
As
I
far as
feel like-
shows, yes.
See, but I
Really?
feel like HBO, man, like once you watch what you want to watch,
That's
it's
it.
like,
You can't just
and I
get
gotta
into
wait.
HBO and just watch anything.
But they have better back catalog. Like they
Really?
like
Better
Netflix-
than Netflix?
Yeah, because Netflix has a lot of shows that most people don't watch.
I mean, Netflix is bingeable.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, but
Nah,
just
man.
because you have to think a lot of the stuff that was previously on Netflix, like The Office, they used to have like some Disney stuff. They started taking that stuff away, and
Oh, they're losing
getting
their
own
contracts.
Oh, so where did The Office go?
Hulu? I think it's either Hulu or I think Peacock or something.
Shut up,
Isn't it
for real?
absurd that you can buy a show? Only one can have it though. Only Netflix, only Hulu. Like
So now you got to get.
It's the new game.
I know. It's just
the new
you
game.
know they're all in cahoots because
I mean, I'm pretty. If I'm correct, one person owns like all the TV networks. Or two companies.
Yeah, one or two companies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say a person.
No, not a person, but there was a. I think you saw
There's
it.
three companies that own every major industry in the world. They all go back to three companies.
Period.
And I believe that they are they're just investment companies. So,
That's correct.
So they're not in any industry. So therefore, there's no monopoly. There's just the way that
That's the way it sounds real good, huh?
the way they set it up is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, it
they
sounds
just
real
own
good.
the major stakes in all of the major companies, including Facebook and all that.
Yeah.
They own the major stake, which isn't necessarily 51%. It's just the biggest share.
Yeah.
So they're the biggest shareholder in every company in the world.
And then,
In the major companies.
somebody listening might be like, "Well, if they don't own it, how can they have any power?" Go watch House of Cards, and you will see what having shares and having things can do.
Watch Succession, which is on HBO Max as well.
Jesus, bro. How are you?
Is this an advertisement for HBO Max?
Right, like
Hey, HBO Max sponsor this podcast.
Hey, man, yeah, sponsor the podcast, man.
Please
You know
feel
what I'm
free to
saying?
sponsor. Listen,
You know what I mean?
hey, you want to buy us out like they did Joe
Look
Rogan?
at this. Look at y'all birds. Y'all birds.
if
Y'all
y'all-
feel like, yo, come on.
If y'all want to buy us out like y'all did Joe Rogan, let us know.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm
We'll
saying?
be up
We-
to that piece like, yo.
Hey,
I
man,
like
listen,
maybe
you know what I
just be
mean?
a healthy alternative out this piece.
You know, we'll
You know what I mean? Apply some of this knowledge.
apply some of this knowledge. You know what I mean? But yeah, like they like in House of Cards, like they do a really good job of showing you how things happen. You know, these lobbyists and how they have power and how there's covered up and scandals and how one person will do something and then you go to another person and be like, listen, you know it's against the law. Well, I know. Well, let's cover it up. Or they'll say, well, you do this for me and I'll give you a position or I'll help you do. It's just one hand washing the other. And you just see that they are playing a whole different game than we are.
Oh, it's a completely different game.
It is they play by a different set of rules. It is a whole different world, and we're just
It's high stakes, though.
Yeah.
It's very high stakes.
you make a misstep and you lose your career. But at the same time, I mean, they got these people making 220, 150, 180 a year. Like they'll be in office. This is real too, but they'll be in office for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? If you're a Senate or in the Senate or the House or congressman or anything of that nature, I mean, those are pretty much, as long as you keep getting reelected, those are lifetime positions.
Right. There's no term.
Right.
And so what you're basically saying is this is a really accurate portrayal of what happens behind the scenes.
Right.
I think that it is very accurate. Just based on, clearly I ain't been in the White House, so this is me doing like just research on how that world functions, and also looking at the repercussions of their actions and how it affects us. I mean, how does Congress regulate itself? Like, who regulates Congress? Who regulates them? Who decides how much money they make? Who decides what,
They do.
They will come up.
They do.
They're the lawmakers. They will come up with policies and say that all y'all get this treatment, but we get this treatment. Like, I'm like, how does this? It's literally the same as internal investigations when you have the police investigating the police.
Yeah.
I mean,
now granted, they're supposed to be on a different level, but they're still humans. They're supposed to be. They're supposed to be a little more hands off, but it's still police.
If I manufacture meat or whatever, right?
You said meat.
Meat.
If I manufacture meat,
what do you mean
cows,
manufacture? Like Beyond and Impossible?
I'm talking about cow meat.
Okay.
And people. What are y'all trying to do?
He's trying to play you. He's trying to play you.
People are like, maybe they're getting sick or they're worried about the health. They're worried about how the animals are being treated. And I say, no, don't worry. We have an internal regulatory system. We have a quality control. No one else needs, the government, no one needs to do it. We'll regulate it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But people are still getting sick.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. That's what
Trust us.
Just trust us. Like we'll take.
We got you.
We're not going to cut corners to make more money. We're not going to make the animals GMO. We're not going to do that. We're not going to take GMO meat and label it as organic. We're not going to do any of that. Like,
do you think that we project just as much as we project our feelings onto others, we project the way that we would do things if we were in power to the powers that be, to say that, they have our best interests. They're going to make sure that we're eating well. They're going to make sure we have the best quality food. They're going to make sure that the money is allocated properly. And even though that things have been consistently going in the wrong direction for history, in history, they will make sure that it gets back on path. Do you feel like we project those ideologies on to the powers that be, regardless of what they do? Not necessarily us. Mm-hmm. But everyone else,
populace,
the society who subscribes to the norm that the government being in control of absolutely everything that we do is the way to go.
I think that the average person trusts the administration. I mean, that's a blanket statement, but. Obviously, there's a lot of people, most people that I'm in, that we're close with, our circle. Obviously, we don't necessarily particularly feel that way. But I just think that the average person genuinely believes that, if the government comes out and says, hey, this is good for you, well, this is what I should do.
Right.
If they say that you should eat 6 times a day because it boosts your metabolism, and they show you a study that shows that, then they believe, and then they show you a dude that's fit, and he runs the commercial ad, they believe this is true. And the problem is that they will take bits and pieces of the truth, and they will show you that, but then all of it, the rest of it is just lies. And I actually had a conversation with somebody like 2 days ago, and she was like, well, I know that I should be eating 6 times a day. What should I be eating? And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, who told you that? And she's like, well, that's just what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right. And then I went through and I explained, like, they literally show that you eat 6 times a day because it boosts your metabolism. And there was studies that were done, and it does. But what they don't tell you is that the metabolism boost that it does get is only used to then increase for that time of you actually eating. So if you're eating for 20 minutes, the metabolism gets boosted for probably 30. So it's it's increased so that way it helps to digest immediately the food that you just ate, but then it immediately goes back down to whatever your basal metabolic rate is. So it only goes up for a very short amount of time while you're eating to help kickstart the digestion process.
So technically, it does boost your metabolism.
Exactly.
It does, but it's
Right.
not like a good thing.
Correct.
And see, this right here, this manipulation of information is the reason why we are so sick.
Yeah.
No one is going to take the time to actually look at the study, or like, I don't know if you got that from the actual study or if you just read that somewhere, but only maybe 3% of people in the normal populace would even read that. And then those people have to be willing to share that information. And then the people around them have to be willing to listen to them over the scientists who have been studying this for all their life. And, you get into all that confirmation bias. And it's like, bruh, look at the outcomes. I had a dude on my channel last week. He littered my videos. Where's the study? Do you have proof? You're making all these claims. What proof do you have? Just anecdotal evidence? Is there a study you could point to? And I'm like, you're a drone, bruh. Like, why does everyone think that a study is the gold standard? Because all of the people at the top say, well, is it peer reviewed? There's a peer reviewed study. That's the gold standard. The only reason you even think that is because people just say it. Yeah. It's not because it's true. Let me tell you what is the gold standard. Anecdotal evidence, meaning if I tell Steven you shouldn't eat 6 times a day, you should eat once a day, and he loses 100 pounds, that's important. That's real life. That's a real outcome. And then if it's duplicatable, if I tell Mel and I tell Susan and I tell Tracy, and they all get the same results in a real world scenario, that's the gold standard, not a controlled study where we're manipulating this and that and giving them this and that. And there's people who, because you want to get in the journal, you're going to alter the information. Like, if you're not willing to do the research on the research, I've been saying this for years, research the research. Yeah. Like, who has something to gain from this narrative? Because me telling Steve, hey, just eat once a day, and him getting the outcomes, even if I have something to gain, at least he got the outcome, right? If this stuff doesn't apply in real life scenarios, I don't care. Even if let's just say it's true. And in this controlled study that they did, it worked. Okay, how does that apply in the real world? If I go down to this random person on the corner and I see that they're overweight and I say, hey, you want to lose weight, eat 6 times a day, and they do it and it doesn't work, then it doesn't matter. Right. Because these are the people you want to help, right?
I mean, you look at the average American right now. I mean, you look at the average weight of Americans and the average weight gain. Every time that they change one of these things, every time that we do something or they come out with a new way of eating, weight goes up. Right? I mean, when they made the food pyramid and all that stuff, God. I mean, that was one of the worst things they could have done.
They had candy on the food pyramid.
I mean, it
was like, you can't eat it all the time, but eat it a little bit.
I mean, what do they have at the bottom? Pastas, carbs.
Yeah, you're going to eat bread, pastas, wheat,
which says eat this the most. That's like the worst thing you can eat.
The worst thing to eat.
Well, dairy. What's worse, dairy?
No. One of the major reasons why wheat is so bad, because that's your cereal, that's all your grain, right? It's because it's so heavily genetically modified.
Right.
Like, if you look at wheat today versus wheat, 100 years ago, it's not the same. It's the same for a lot of our fruits and vegetables, but wheat is impervious to everything. The bugs don't touch it. The winter cold can't touch it.
Exactly.
Like,
you gotta get the old one.
Yeah, they've updated it. But here's my thing, right? Even with updating it,
they have exercise on there.
On the foods,
that must be some alternative food pyramid. How does exercise fit into healthy eating?
Yeah,
and once again, it's propaganda, right? Okay, so we try to build this narrative that over time we trial and error, we get better and better. Except the problem is we're regressing. Like, that's the problem. We are actually regressing. Our ancestors, 100,000 years ago, were far more advanced than us in literally every aspect of our life. I was talking to somebody recently about ancient technology. And I said, I love ancient technology. It fascinates me. And I was just going on and on. And they were like, why ancient technology? How, like, what's so special about that? I'm like, what? I'm like, it's the technology in ancient time is far more advanced than what we have today. And they're like, oh, you're right, the pyramids and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, the pyramids and stuff, right? If we cannot rebuild the pyramids today, that means that we are a lesser. We have a lesser understanding of what would you call that? Structures and whatever. I don't know. Engineering. Maybe that's a good word. I mean, they do some crazy stuff with rock down in South America. You know, some of the architecture out there. We don't understand how. Well, probably somebody knows.
We can't recreate that.
No, we cannot. I mean, I'm sure someone can, but as far as
just like we were able to get to the moon back then, and we can't get back to the moon.
Yeah,
is that like the same?
That's basically back in the
we could do it back
right
back in the day. We could get to the moon back in the day, but we can't do it
no more now.
Yeah, so it's sort of like that.
It's we're regressing. That's yeah. No, but so what we have to do is we got to understand that we aren't at the pinnacle. Yeah. We're not at the pinnacle. But if you don't research ancient technology, you don't know that. You just think, oh, we have an iPhone. I mean, I guess it depends on how you gauge it, right? But a lot of people don't know they had electricity in ancient Egypt either. They don't know that Tesla created wireless electricity and had wireless cars and flying devices that would pick up on this wireless electricity in a certain range. They think electric cars are new. Electric cars are old. It's old technology. We're just now getting back to it, right? They had hydrogen-powered cars. You could pour water in a car because people don't realize H in the H2O is hydrogen, and it's volatile. It'll create explosions. So you can power a car off of that, right? And then the what comes of it is just water, so you don't have all these carbon emissions. Like, we are not at the pinnacle of technology. We're just not. So if we understand that, then this whole idea of, well, they put the pyramid together and they weren't sure about the science. They were figuring it out. Now we've got a better model. No, they started with a bad model, and they're making it worse, right? Like, they were telling us back then, don't eat butter, right? Fat was bad, right? Don't eat butter. You got to eat. I can't believe it's not butter.
Oh, man.
That's better.
Oh, my God.
Right? Margarine.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat butter. That's bad for you.
They had the commercial with the dude with the long hair.
Yo, Fabio. Yo, my man was looking.
I can't believe it's not butter. I was like, oh, snap, look at his hair.
To the point where if you had I can't believe it's not butter in your house, that was like, yo, you know,
bro, the yellow tub, it was soft, right? You just get your little knife and just spread it. Like, man, I can't believe this is not butter.
And then we find out, I can't believe this is one molecule away from being plastic.
Right.
Like, it's
wait a minute, y'all's feeling a soft plastic? Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that though. Like,
no,
I've probably been over people's houses.
Yes,
who's had
you
it.
had to have.
You've had to.
Even if you didn't know you had it,
We've had. I probably had it.
It's margarine,
but in the house, to see that the container.
Even if you didn't have that brand, that's a brand.
We had Crisco. You remember Crisco?
Crisco, that grease, the
white thing. Come in the blue.
You used to get your hand and we make cookies and put it on the pan. You know, put it.
Well, you use it. You bake with it. You can bake.
Yeah.
It's like lard, right? It's like
but it's not.
It's not.
It's
but
like the margin of lard.
The margin of lard.
Yeah. Like, you're better off using lard.
Right.
Like,
lard is better.
It's
organic, y'all.
It's literally like Impossible meat. Like it would
Now,
be better to
now you about to ruffle feathers.
Hey, ruffle them feathers, fly away.
Now you about to ruffle feathers.
So what you mean the Impossible meat ain't good?
No, that's good for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What you? Hold on a second. You telling me Impossible meat and Beyond Meat ain't good?
What? It's vegan. It's healthy.
vegan.
No, what you mean?
Because vegan food is healthy for you.
Wait a minute.
All vegan food.
All vegan food.
I'm offended. You basically just said that the modern I can't believe it's not butter is Beyond Meat.
It is literally the exact same
So
thing.
we're better off eating a high quality cut of actual animal flesh?
Yes. And this is coming from a vegan and someone who would never promote any kind of animal violence at all.
Yeah.
And like the thing is like
Hey man, tell him, man.
like once you understand,
Make him understand.
I'm about to make them
Steve,
understand.
let him tell him how to understand it.
I'm about to make them understand. It's like I get it. Like it's not animal cruelty, but are we being vegans or are we living healthy lifestyle?
Right, yeah.
You
Wait,
know?
so there's a difference.
There is a big difference between being a vegan and being a healthy vegan. There's a complete big difference.
Interesting.
And while I'll never promote any kind of animal violence in any capacity, if you're trying to live a healthy lifestyle, I would eat meat before I would eat an Impossible or Beyond burger because it's processed. It's literally chemically altered and engineered to taste a particular way that's similar to meat.
Right.
They can change the molecules, they can change the structure and the integrity of it so it resembles a particular flavor. Just like, everything has vibrations. Everything is on a different frequency. They change the vibrations. They change the frequency within these, these burgers, so it has a particular taste. Which is why, like, they do the same thing in like chips the flavoring. They can tweak it so it tastes a particular way. It's not something that we can create at home. It's something that they would lab out and tweak so this tastes like cheddar, this tastes like ranch, this tastes like whatever, so these are things that people are modifying so it can taste a particular way. But look at the ingredients in there. Everything is processed. Yes, it'll say it comes from expelled oil. And,
who even knows what those things are?
Yeah, like these aren't things that we can just, I can pick these out in the aisle and just create that. And granted, it tastes good.
I think it tastes good.
It tastes good. Let's not, Let's not press it as bad.
Come on now.
Let's not get it twisted. It tastes good, but it's not good for you. And it's funny because I'm actually in this group on Facebook. It's called like Ghetto Vegans or whatever. And a lot of them, they post a lot of their different recipes and I just tried out this crispy chicken. And I'm just like,
chicken.
No, like
they're buying it from the store.
Yeah, it's store bought, frozen, and while I'll say it's okay every once in a while to do it, but to just make this a substitute for meat,
no,
bad idea.
That's a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea. If anything, learn how to make things from natural food resources that we actually grow. That we grow our fruit from.
I'm gonna give them a real quick tip, Mel. And this is for all our day one subscribers because chances are, who knows, if we blow up, people might backtrack. Wait, okay, hold on.
We don't put that out there.
When we blow up, when this blows up, people might backtrack. But for now, I'm gonna give y'all a tip.
Give them a tip.
Go on the internet and
give them a
type
tip.
in chicken of the woods.
Chicken of the woods.
Oh, the mushroom.
It's a mushroom, okay? They're challenging to find. You can't just go to the store and buy it usually, but sometimes
you go and find it.
You want to deburr it, so you get like a little toothbrush or something. You get all the dirt off. Okay, whatever, cool. I slice it. I slice it into like little slivers. I don't know, just maybe like a quarter of an inch thick or something like that, and then. You batter it. So you're going to do a wet and a dry batter. Look up a KFC recipe or something.
You told him to go to KFC?
No, I'm saying look up the seasonings.
I used to work at KFC.
You know KFC got the new Beyond chicken now.
The chicken nuggets or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody talk. They're like, "Ooh, I can't wait." I said, "Y'all are wild." That is so weird. That's weird to me. Like, you should never be excited to eat anything from KFC, McDonald's. Like,
Hey man, them KFC biscuits.
back in the day, are they still?
Man, KFC. I haven't eaten that.
KFC biscuits back in the day.
Back in the day, they were,
but not.
I mean, I haven't eaten at fast food restaurants in a while. So anything I'm speaking about is back in the day.
Okay.
Back
I
in
just
the
want to
day.
make it clear.
I know how you like to. But yeah, we're not talking
But
about
y'all
that.
don't be trying to play me. I'm eating a fast food restaurant.
I'm not saying you eat at fast food restaurants. It just harkens back to our McDonald's conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you get yourself a recipe. You wet batter it, and then you dry batter it. And you put it in some grapeseed oil. Okay, you're gonna fry it in some
Grapeseed oil is the ideal oil.
Specifically, grapeseed.
Specifically, I said grapeseed oil for a reason because I know.
You can use this
I
also.
know
There's a couple
vegetable
other ones.
oil. Don't use vegetable oil. Don't use canola oil. Don't use peanut oil.
Yes. So then, and then
I'm just gonna substitute
and-
grapeseed with what I got. Chris, is that okay?
I'm just want to substitute, Chris.
Is that okay?
and then
substitute this, Chris.
you get yourself a bun.
What
you
kind
can
of
get
bun?
you can get yourself a vegan bun. That's cool.
vegan bun?
Get yourself a vegan bun.
Oh,
get a
some
tomato.
vegan buns
Get
out
some
there.
lettuce.
I
Get
got a
some
vegan
onion. Come up with the sauce for it, and that is a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Chicken sandwich.
It's
telling you.
good. The vegan of the woods, the mushroom.
vegan of the
Vegan of
woods.
the
Chicken of the woods, right?
Chicken of the
Hey
woods.
man, I'm still over here thinking about them vegan buns you talking about.
Now, that mushroom is good, but it's like, okay, we have an alternative for it's like when you're measuring, or if you're looking at people who eat primarily, I guess technically raw foods versus people who substitute meat for GMO or type foods, Impossible and Beyond, and you look at them and you can see that they're still unhealthy.
Right.
You can look at them because, no offense to any vegan out there,
You about to offend somebody.
I'm sorry, but it is what it is. If you are overweight and you are a vegan, there's something wrong.
Well, either you're at the beginning of your journey,
Yes, not.
or
I mean, you can't be vegan one day, and But I'm saying, like, if it's been a lifestyle that you've lived for more than 6 months and you haven't seen a substantial amount of change in your life, then obviously you need to change what you're eating.
Yeah.
Like, your vegan processed food isn't the way that you should be going.
Here's the thing. It comes down to this. Somebody posted on Facebook. They said, man, there's a lot of overweight vegans out here. Somebody lying.
Yeah.
Like, it was hilarious to me because I understand, the pitfall. And what happens is it's actually quite simple. When people go vegan for different reasons, and it's usually one of two. They're either going vegan because they love animals and they feel like, well, I just want to save the animals, and that's why I'm vegan.
Yeah.
Or they're going vegan because they have dietary things, or they want to lose weight, they want to live a more healthy lifestyle, and they're going vegan for that reason. Depending on your reasoning for going vegan is going to determine what you feel like is acceptable for your diet. By going vegan and specifically saying, well, I'm vegan because I want to save the animals, I don't buy leather watches, I don't buy leather, I don't do anything with the animal or byproducts, then there's a very good chance that you're going to be one of the vegans that is going to be overweight. And that and once again, the biggest reason for that is because you didn't necessarily dislike meat, or you didn't change because you're like, well, I don't want meat. You did it for the animals, but you still want the satiation that meat provides. You still want the texture. You still want those things. And what you end up doing is you end up going to carbohydrates. And that is where the pitfall is. You just start going to bread and rice, potatoes. Like, you substitute the meat because you still want that level of satiation, and you can't get past that hill. And that's where you get the a lot of vegan people that eat all the processed food. They're eating Oreos. They they'll buy the chicken, and they'll buy the Beyond Burgers and all that stuff. And it's just, it's terrible. I mean, and once again, I've had them before.
Oh, we've all had them.
Dude, I used to like go ham like, these Beyond Burgers and Impossible Burgers were better, but the thing is, I'm good. I'm aware of my body.
Yeah.
I don't like certain smells coming out of my body. That's why I don't eat asparagus. And
makes your pee smell like
it makes your pee smell weird. And also, I didn't like the way like Impossible Burgers, it smelled when it was coming out.
Bad. Yeah, they smell bad.
I didn't like the way it smells. Like, I don't like this
because it's literally it's nothing. There's nothing organic about it.
Yeah,
it's like it's all just
synthetic.
Yeah, it's like when they came out with that video of McDonald's and they had the nuggets and they were like this pink sludge. And they were like, yeah, there's pink sludge. And then somebody went behind the scenes. They were like, no, it's made out of real meat. And then what they found was the pink sludge was actually real. But what they do is they put it all in this vat. Blender. And they mix it all and mix it, and they shape it. It goes into these molds, they shape it. And it doesn't look, when I watched the video, it wasn't as pink and milky as what that one video looked like. But it was definitely there. And it's just like, bro, this ain't,
It's not what we think of. When we think of a chicken nugget, we think, okay, you killed a chicken, you took his meat, you sliced it up, and you fried it or whatever. Yeah. Like, that's what we think a chicken nugget is. That's what Chick-fil-A,
I mean, that's why Chick-fil-A's nuggets are like...
They're shaped different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What, Chick-fil-A legit?
I mean... I'm pretty sure that they're actual.
I think it's actual flesh, like the whole piece.
Like
of flesh.
They actually will cut the nugget and then bread it. You know what I mean? Like McDonald's, it's like it's shaped. Why is it in the shape? Why is it so uniform?
Like pancakes.
Yeah. Like.
I mean, the pink sludge. Comes out in a way that you can spread it and make it a pancake. Like, it does come out.
Think about them vegan buns.
Pancakes from McDonald's, man. Used to
go. Do they still sell those? Ones,
right?
Yeah, they probably still do.
Right? They used to be $1. They get them $1.
Hey, listen, I'm not even going to hold y'all. McDonald's breakfast back in the day,
fire.
Nothing was touching it.
Fire.
I mean, it was not good for you.
No. We didn't say that.
No.
We didn't say that.
But
it was definitely good.
An egg McMuffin.
Oh, fire!
Come on.
Is that an egg McMuffin?
Is the egg?
Is that Is that the one with the bun that has like cinnamon or
it's an English muffin?
Nah, you're thinking of the it's got the pancake
or
the syrup.
He's a McGriddle.
You're McGriddle.
Oh,
you're thinking about a McGriddle.
Bro, the McGriddle.
You can make one of those.
Son.
Maine used to make them. Maine Niddles.
Son, those McGriddles, bruh. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? You wake up, man. You get your McGriddle, man. You gotta eat breakfast, right? The most healthiest part of the day.
The most
waking up and you eat 1,000 calories and with 2 McGriddles, which is nothing but
then you'll
wheat
for 4 days.
It is nothing but sugar, fake egg, the pork. I mean
all that.
I mean, it's just trash.
Hey man, but that's why it's good that we have all elevated.
Right.
Because we realize all the stuff that we should and shouldn't be putting in our bodies.
Accountability.
Any closing statements in this particular regard? Any closing statements? All right, no closing statements. But it's good now because now when I poop,
okay,
it smells like fruit.
Oh yeah, okay.
It smells like fruit, baby.
Now when I poop, it smells like fruit.
Hey. Dead ass. It smells like shitty ass mangoes.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you, man. I don't be smelling too much. Man.
I don't have sense.
You can eliminate the foul odor because what's inside of you comes out of you. Meaning, if it's foul coming out, it was foul inside. So if you eat well, you clean out your elimination pathways. You have regular bowel movements. It will not smell, and you won't need toilet paper. Because what other animal in nature uses toilet paper?
What other animal in nature uses computers? What other animal in nature uses TV? What other animal in nature fries their food?
Well, it depends on how you define computer. If you're talking about a laptop, none. But if you're talking about a computer, I mean, there's there's a lot of ancient technology where they use stones. I mean, birds, crows. I've seen crows make tools. I mean, animals use tools, and you know, it really just depends on how you define it. No one's using a microphone and a laptop, no. But
you got a bear out there. But turn me up on track 1. I can't hear you, Yogi.
But the point is, when we talk about a natural world, right? And we're born with certain equipment. We're not born with like some automatic paper towel thing.
Yeah.
So why is all the other animals okay with just having a bowel movement and they're fine? They don't got to worry about wiping. It's literally all dietary, and I know from experience.
Yeah.
Because when I was firing on all 8 cylinders, I would wipe, but it wasn't no point.
Wasn't
There's
there.
nothing there. It was crazy, and then it hit me.
The thing is, like, you can feel it too when you don't have anything. Like, at least I can. Like,
It slides. It slides out of you.
When you eat all vegetables for a week and all fruit, everything just comes out. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Just you wake up in the morning and it's just like, well, I feel light as a feather. You know, like you don't feel like you're just sluggish and walking around with last night's steak and eggs and steak and potatoes still in your stomach.
Yeah, so eat healthy out there. Make sure you all are eating healthy. But I guess that's why I brought up the D.A.R.E. I brought up the D.A.R.E. so we can lead into that.
Right.
Hey, man, sometimes that's how conversation goes.
Shout out Zendaya, but make sure you all check out Euphoria and have your own opinion.
And get an HBO Max subscription.
If you
so
got
HBO,
one, just
holla at us. You know
what I'm saying?
Holla at us. We out here.
If you got one, you know what I'm saying? Just hit me.
But yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check us out on Spotify. We are on Spotify, application of knowledge, and follow on there. We want to get at least 50 followers minimum, and that's when we can,
1,000.
Yeah, well.
How you go from 50 to 1,000?
Because 50 is nothing. 1,000.
I mean, but when we get 50, we're able to do more.
Oh, okay. We got to get at least 50 so we can do some more stuff.
Hey, man, if you don't go ahead and subscribe, man, listen, I got
go ahead and subscribe.
I got these vegan buns.
Got these vegan. If you rock out with
vegan
Chris
buns.
James,
That's
you rock out with Stephen
what I'm
Michael.
saying?
That's a T-shirt.
Go ahead and show them some love. Show us some love, and we'll see you out there. But
hashtag vegan buns.
It's been a good episode, man. We'll see you all next week. Yeah, man. Peace, love, happiness, and take care. All right.
And vegan buns.
So holla.